All right, welcome back to our long stalled Adulting 101 conversations. I started this, I think, a year ago, 2 years ago, when one of my closest friends and mentees. And today, I'll have another session with another close friend and a mentee, mentoree. So, for those of you who's viewing these sessions for the first time, I started Adulting 101 in the hopes that we could help some or many young adults online who are trying to figure out what's it like becoming an adult, struggling through adulthood, and so on and so forth. I am going to have a Q&A with my longtime friend and former cell group member, Daniel David. Welcome him. Welcome.
Yay! Wow! Joke.
Hi, Dane. Hello.
Uh,
Kumusta?
Doing great, Kimek. Thank you for having me.
Yes. It's always a privilege, Jude, to be able to talk and have an interview with one of my more famous friends or infamous. But anyway, I'll be asking Daniel a few questions, and hopefully he has some questions for me. And for those of you who are joining us online, hopefully you'll get something out of our conversations. So we all know that everybody goes through all the seasons, all the seasons of life, all the different times and seasons of life, from childhood to teenage years to adolescence to adulthood, and so on and so forth. So many of the people I've been connected to in the past years have been young adults, and so I just had this idea of having these kinds of conversations with them uh, to get to know them in part, and then secondly to get their ideas and their perspectives on how adulting is for them, and then ultimately being able to help some of you online who are struggling or dealing with adulting. So without any further delay, my first question to Daniel, first question.
Let's go.
Let's go. What reality about adulting did you first find intimidating, but now have learned to deal with?
Oh, it's gotta be the Bills.
Okay. I kind of relate a bit. Sige, go ahead.
Of course. But it's just the bills and
Uh,
stuff, the expenses. It's
mm,
usually
yeah.
um, especially car payments.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the very much an additional expense in my part.
Right.
Um, but once you've got your budget set, siguro, I think it's fine.
Hmm.
But it teaches you to live within your means or your income.
That's a
So
good point. Yes.
so like if you've seen those memes, when you grow up, you get to buy anything that you want,
With adult money.
and it's most definitely not true. But there are times where you want to treat yourself and stuff, but
Yeah.
with the bills and everything, the expenses or priorities, the
Right.
priorities that you have to set a budget to. So yeah,
Yeah.
bills.
I think at when I was your age, entering into adulthood, I think I had it easier than you because my parents wouldn't let me contribute to any bill in the house, even though I already had a job. But your circumstance is different, so you're I guess you're a bit ahead of me in that area. So at your age, so yeah. Okay, so you found bills intimidating and making a budget, but now getting the hang of it, sort of.
Getting the hang of it.
Ah,
I
good.
still live with my mom, though. I still
Ah,
live in our house.
right.
I do contribute for the bills, but overall my mom does the accounting, or kanang, what do you call this? She's just good with keeping money in her hands. So I
Yeah, I
think I'm not very good at that.
yeah, that's actually one of the things that I'm also learning now as a married person. especially my wife,
Sana
is the one. Sana all I impart the marriage.
all.
Yeah, I was saying, I'm learning that now that, I personally don't have that much of, a good accounting or budgeting skills, but my wife is really excellent and good at that. So I think in life, God just finds a way to partner us up with people who can do it better than us. And in your case, it's your mom, right? So, I'm sure you learn a lot from her, no? And
Very
then
much, very
in
much.
preparation for, whatever future plans you might have. Wink,
Yes,
wink.
sir.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. What aspect of adulthood do you find exciting? So obviously it's not the paying of the bills or the budgeting, but what's something that you really enjoy and you find exciting as a young adult?
Um, recently, like, exciting
Hmm?
stuff you wanted to do when you were like a kid, or when you were like uh, going into your adolescent years, like stuff you didn't have money to spend on. Now
Mm.
you can actually, like, it's not like always, but like you have it within your grasp, or you're capable of doing stuff that you like, or let's say want. You can treat yourself sometimes. I don't know, like, call me, sa may word ani ha, mo ba or kalipay, or like,
Uh,
I just celebrate my small
yeah,
win. So like,
right, right.
I'm very simple. When I was a kid, I'm like really a big fan of Nike.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And like, it's just the simple stuff. I've always wanted to have that Nike kanang lanyard for my
Uh,
ID.
all right.
And for some reason I couldn't like find it anymore. Like, saan there is a Cebu man zero to.
Right.
And I always wanted that squeeze bottle nga Nike pod, because like, playing basketball when you're a kid, and
Mm,
right now, like,
right.
it's cool, like, it looked cool. Or like, it's like a status image nga you're a baller, jud ba?
Right, right. That you have these Nike.
Kid, when you were a kid, yeah. I was a kid back then, so
Yeah, of course.
it may sound stupid for some people, but like, um that's just me. So, long story short, I couldn't find it here sa Cebu. Then we recently had a trip to Manila last year, and I got to find both of those items. Bought it. So like,
Mm,
it was like my milestone to myself, or like,
right.
it was like looking back when nga, stuff nga you've always wanted when you were a kid. You can like have them right now. You can
Right.
like treat yourself sometimes. And
Hmm.
so I don't know, that's at what
It's
do you call it?
exciting for you. Yeah.
It is what it is for me.
Yeah. I can relate with that, Dane, because again, no, entering into adulthood, having
Mhm.
a job, making money, and in my case, not contributing to the bills yet in the with the family. Uh, like it's the same thing. It's just the things that I wanted to have in my
Definitely.
childhood that I couldn't purchase then, or I had to wait for Christmas or birthdays to ask my parents. Now with
True.
the money, with the salary, I can get it. And my example was, and this was even like in my 30s. Um, I used to like, I still do like uh, coloring books, coloring pen,
Yes, yes, definitely.
art stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and having the money now as an adult. Whenever I feel the urge to buy an adult coloring book, I just buy it. Origami, arts and crafts, scrapbooking materials, I buy it.
Scrapbooking.
So, like there, of course, not on top of the important things. Like, of course, you
Of
have to eat
course.
and you have to pay your bills
Of
and you
course.
have the taxes but extra money. You already have extra money now as an adult
Mm-hmm.
to get the things that you used to enjoy and you couldn't enjoy as much as a kid because you had no money, but now you have the money and you can enjoy it now. So that I also find that exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And also being able to enjoy, like you said, simple things like me, we've done this a lot together. going to a cafe and sipping a cup of coffee, hot or cold. That for me is one of
Definitely,
that I find exciting, is being able to relax with some friends.
that's
Uh,
why I worked in Starbucks, so I don't
yeah,
have to spend for coffee anymore.
Starbucks. Yeah, so yeah,
Life
good.
hacks.
So that's good. It's I'm glad that you have found something exciting, being becoming an adult. Next question is, since we've talked about the exciting aspect of adulthood that that you like, now what aspect of adulthood do you find challenging? Which might
Hmm.
go back to budgeting. I don't know, or you're fine.
Um, I think it's with adulting. It's more of your growth.
Okay.
The challenge was the growth part. Like, what's next?
Mm,
Since like with when you're a kid, you've always had to level up at some place
mm,
until you graduate, and then I don't know if you can remember, but like I used this term, the monkey off my back term.
okay.
When that's when I tell you, like, when I have these challenges and stuff. And I think it's the self growth. First with your career.
Mm,
For once, for some time, my work became a bit monotonous,
mm. Okay.
and
Yeah, I know.
like I wanted to challenge myself, but there were definitely valleys. But right now, I think we've talked already before about my drive right now for my career. Like,
Yeah,
right now, I kind of figured that out already. Not exactly figured it out, but I have an idea now of what I want in my career.
nice.
Second is that spiritual growth also.
Mm,
I've always asked
mm.
the Lord, like, what's next, what's next. So I think we've talked about it as well. That kanang I also have an idea na pod
Yeah.
to where I'm supposed to go, because there was a time I kind of felt stagnant from,
Mm,
like, myself. Like, I was just like trying to figure out stuff. But right now, recently, like, thank you Lord nga dyan kanang I got to figure that out as well.
nice. Very good. Yeah, for sure. Adulting, stepping out of your adolescence into adulthood presents a lot of challenges. And I remember, yeah, in my case, I remember one of the things that I had a hard time adjusting to, or what I found challenging, was the the level of responsibility that's now in your hands, because as an adult, of course, you should be responsible
Mhm.
for your own life, right? Like,
Definitely.
in some cases, in some cultures, teenagers at 18 are already looking for jobs or have jobs in
Hmm.
other countries.
Hmm.
They have stable relationships, they buy cars. And in my case, that was a challenge for me, because there was no um, tutorial, or no instruction from my parents on how to become an adult.
Hmm.
Of course, this is not to say they didn't care for me, they didn't love me. They did. They provided for us and took care of us. But it, I, I don't know if you find this also in our culture, where we don't get taught a lot of things about practical things in life in our families, maybe. So that was in my case,
Oh.
how do I make a budget, or what do I spend on, or how. And of course, in adolescence, one of the things that we enter into is relationship with the
Yeah.
opposites. How do you pursue a romantic relationship? What's the proper way of courtship? So this was my challenge, entering into adulthood, when I was your age, because no pointers were given,
Hmm. Hmm.
or very few pointers were given.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess and I guess many of you young adults out there also have to learn along the way. Like, there's a learning curve, and then you learn as you make mistakes. You learn as you
Just
experience.
roll with it.
Just roll with it, no? But I think what would help. young adults actually is a bit of, at least a bit of instruction, a bit of guidance through the challenges of adulthood. So, but you seem to be doing fine in your journey, and I seem to have turned out well. I hope as an adult. So yeah.
Like you kind of wish that if they had they had a subject for this in college
Yes.
or something in like high school, some sort. So
Yeah, that's actually, it's good that you bring that up, because that's actually one of the things that Lisa, my wife, and I talk about. In school, we are taught to prepare for engineering. We're taught to prepare for you becoming a doctor. We're taught all the maths, the sciences, but there's very few, uh, at least in the basic high school and basic college, there's very few practical things like, yeah, how to make a budget, how to assess a vehicle when you're buying one, or how to properly choose a potential life partner, or how to not be a dick in public situations. Proper. There's not enough of that. So but we're taught how to be skilled uh, doctors. We're told how to be good teachers, but I feel like there's not enough teaching on how to be a good human being, and how to be how to transition properly into adulthood. And so I think sometimes many of us like grope in the dark, so to speak. Um, yeah, but thank God for you and me that we both have a relationship with God, and of course, okay. So now that we've talked about an exciting part of adulthood and a challenging part of adulthood, let me ask you this now. What aspect of adulthood do you think you can do without?
easy answer. The bills.
That's yeah. Oh, yeah. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, like the bills lang. Of course. You wish like there was like some magical spell to like take care of it and like doesn't like cut your budget in like in
Uh,
half.
right, right. True, true. Yeah,
But I guess I think the opposite, but like with the bills and the budgeting, it teaches you it gives you like a certain discipline to yourself. I guess so.
yeah,
I think it goes both ways. You kind of wish it wasn't there, but um in some way it kind of like disciplined you to some
yeah,
degree.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of how life is as well, right? Sometimes we wish there wasn't any trouble, there weren't tests, and there weren't any struggles. But at the same time, going through the trials and struggles actually strengthens you and teaches you some things, right?
Yes,
So
definitely.
in my for me, one of the things that I wish wasn't part of adulthood is the interpersonal drama, and you know this very well
Oh,
in life.
tell me
So
about it.
yeah, so especially earlier on in my life, when I didn't quite know how to like make concrete boundaries with certain
Mm.
people. So and then and usually in my experience, it's other people's drama that kind of messes up your own
Mm,
life,
your
and your peace of mind and your
your own
emotional health.
piece. Mhm.
So that's one of the things that I wish wasn't part of life in general, and life as an adult.
Adult.
um because it like we've touched on in the last few questions that we discussed. Getting into adulthood is hard enough already as it is, but I feel like
Definitely.
drama and conflict, unnecessary conflict, makes it even more difficult. But then
Right, because
mm,
like as what you said, like the drama and stuff like that, kind of usually when you're a kid or like an adolescent, like you're usually shielded
you're
from
free.
that. You're
Yeah,
like you're to some degree like an adult is protecting you
yeah, I
from these
agree.
kinds of drama or whatever other people's mess.
Mhm. Yeah,
But like yeah, I kind of feel that as well. Usually when you're adult, like everybody is like is not no no one's exempted from like the drama when you're an adult, so
that's
so to
true.
speak.
That's so true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but again, going back to the irony of it is that we don't want it, but it actually helps us in some ways, you know. But so
Mm,
I guess what I've learned now, like a few years, a decade into my adulthood, is that as much as I don't like the drama, there are some conflicts that are necessary
mhm,
for personal growth, as you mentioned earlier,
mhm.
because sometimes the conflicts actually God allows it and uses it to target certain things in our lives that also need
True.
to mature and toughen up.
Mhm,
And so, yeah, and I would suggest to the young adults out there, including Daniel and whoever's watching this video, you know, don't look for drama. It'll come for you sooner or later, and then try to draw concrete boundaries
mhm.
for your mental health, emotional health, and above all, your spiritual health.
Definitely.
There should be a certain boundary to a certain limit to how much people can dump into your life, can
Mhm.
dump their drama into your life, and it's not healthy for us to always be around toxic environments as well. So yeah. Right. So moving on. Oh, we're already halfway through our list of questions. All right. Okay. So now that you are, let's say, we always, I think generally we say 21 is the age of adulthood, right? So,
Mhm.
uh, how many years into adulthood have you already been in, Daniel?
I'm old. I'm 30.
Okay, so 9 years.
I'm turning 31 this year. So
Okay.
yeah, like I'm old. I'm not just kidding.
Okay. No, but so you're all, yeah, like practically a decade into your adulthood. So,
Yeah.
what important lesson have you recently learned about your adulthood being a decade into it now?
Hmm. Too broad.
Yeah. Or a few.
Lots of lessons
Okay.
definitely, but um, I think one most definitely is you should like you're not supposed to compare your progress with others
I like that. Yeah.
since
Somebody should have told me that before.
yeah uh there are times nga like I can like I like think out loud. I'm thinking out loud right now like
Like Ed Sheeran.
I like I think to myself oh, this guy is having my some of my friends have this already going on in their lives.
Right.
Some of my friends have this going on, and like I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Just kidding. uh, I just like think to myself, am I doing something really wrong? Because like this is my path that I'm going
Right.
on. I don't have this in my life right now. Um, am I doing something really wrong, or like
Mm.
am I doing it right? Mga na questions ba?
Yes,
Like
yes.
you're trying to figure out. But kanang I just remember these sayings by I don't know which pastor was it, but
Mm.
kanang wala like you just trust that God has put you in this time, and like it's no accident nga
Mm.
you're here nga asa ka gibutang ni Lord. But
Yep.
of course, kanang you have to I did some self evaluation but nga wa masago I'm not slacking. I'm not a slacker, like
Yeah.
like I'm trying my best to like kanang unsa ni kanang to have a life in
Mm.
general,
Yep.
like and trying to contribute to society.
Mm.
Char.
You are actually. You are with especially with your involvement in your congregation, in your church. So
Yeah.
that's
Thank you, Lord.
something that we've discussed, yeah. But yeah, so I find in social media and in real life and in my previous work experience uh, as a minister that it is one of the things that I think not just young adults, but I think specifically and especially for young adults that they struggle with comparison because I think that comes from the fact that when we are young adults, when we're at that stage, we don't really know much about life yet as compared to adults. We know a lot more when compared to when we were kids, but still there's so many things that we don't we are not yet revealed to us, or we haven't experienced these things yet. And so, as you were saying, comparison really brings a lot of young adults down because, I don't look like this certain person, or I haven't accomplished this certain thing, and
Or
we're
like,
the
oh,
same
minyo
age.
na, uy, minyo na siya, ana.
Yeah, somebody's married at
Ikaw,
25.
Pastor Mike, wapalagi ka na minyo.
May pasal po
minyo
sa dako akong mind.
namin
So yeah, so I think that's one of the things that really becomes a an emotional and mental issue with young adults when we end up comparing ourselves, our accomplishments, our looks, our current stage and status in life to other young adults who have made it further than us, or achieved certain level of success. And it's a good thing now, which these truths and these encouragements are. I also see them on social media where they say, don't compare yourself to another person because their journey and their path is different from yours, which is true. And so, maybe this person succeeded because they're on the right track, and they tap on their potential and become a success at 26, 27. And maybe your journey or my journey is it goes a different path, and maybe there's a lot more growing up that needs to happen, a lot more learning, and so yeah, that's a really good point. And um it's something that hopefully many young adults now, including you, Dane, you're learning it now, and I hope that many young adults learn that don't compare yourself or your life's journey to other people's, but try and figure out, with the help of God, with spiritual guidance, what you're supposed to do, which path you're supposed to take, and how you're supposed to use your life to benefit not just yourself, but as you said, the society around, in general, people around you, your family, and then eventually your spouse or your family and children. So yeah, that's a good point. Okay, we're down to the last two questions. I'm having a chat with my friend Daniel David, who's one of the famous people of Cebu City. Famous or infamous.
Magtuo na sila.
He got that anointing from somebody. There was an impartation that happened some years back. I don't know. But anyway, the penultimate question, Daniel, have you found a steady flow or rhythm in your adult life right now?
I think so. But like kanang starting to get the hang lang siguro. Like
Yeah.
like if the steady rhythm means like if I've like fully figured it out, not yet.
Mm.
But like kanang I always go with this kanang saying sa Bisaya ba nga
Mm.
layo pas tinuod pero layo na sa kung asa gasugod. So
Right.
like, you know,
It's
like
like you're
I'm
you're 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 not there yet, but you're still far away. You're far away from where you've been, something like that.
from where I
Right.
started.
Yeah,
So
where you started. Yeah.
like that's my mantra with my adulting life, which is like, then like I'm already 30, so like
Mm.
not exactly a young adult already.
Oh, you're an adult.
Like yeah, pero still have stuff to figure out.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah.
I'm not going to like take it as a negative. Kay, I know where I was like kanang pila ka years back, and like let's say I'll tap my own back if I have to like kanang to encourage myself about it. So yeah.
Right. Mm.
And we have you to like even though we're like thousands of miles away, we could always talk, and
Yeah.
get you could like you definitely impart wisdom
Oh,
anytime
oh,
we talk to each other.
I hope so.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, so with when it comes to the rhythm of adulthood or the rhythm of life, I think uh as I mentioned earlier about the learning curve, there's a learning curve. And also there's a time and season for everything. So there are going to be adjustments stepping into your early adulthood and then your adulthood in general. There's struggles, there's going to be difficulties,
Mhm.
but you also learn valuable things through your experience, valuable things that God will teach you along the way. And and for me, having been an adult for 21, right? 21 is adult. So having been an adult for 26 years now,
More 6 years screaming.
I know, right? Look at man. I mean, so so having been an adult for about almost a quarter of a decade or over a quarter of a decade, the one of the like we're talking about a steady flow or a rhythm, but so I have learned to have a steady flow of in my relationship with God, wherein God is always involved. And this is what I've been telling you guys in our Bible study group, to always involve God, whatever it is that I'm going through, whether I'm happy, sad, afraid, worried, scared, anxious, that God's always there. There's a steady flow of that. And it doesn't mean that I'm always religious, my face is always in the Bible, or I'm always like
Mhm.
24/7, like speaking in tongues and praying to God. But there's a consciousness that God is with me, whether I'm screwing up, screwing up, or I've done something right. There's a steady flow of there's a the rhythm of how I deal with people. Like, and by that I mean I know my personal boundaries of,
Boundaries.
yeah, and of what I can take from people and what I can't. So I
Can
right, there's a uh oh yeah, there's a boundary. And then if I can't take this certain amount of uh whatever toxicity or drama, then I'll remove myself from certain things. There's also a rhythm of how I or now in my marriage with my wife, there's a rhythm of how we spend our money. Because obviously, when I was younger, first time nakasweldo, first time I got a paycheck, spend. I want to buy this, buy this. So, but now there's like you said, there's a budget, there's a structure, so there's a rhythm and a flow there. And then another point you mentioned, where there should be at least, or there was, for the majority of my life in the past 10
Mhm.
years, social involvement, or you want to give back to your community, you want to help people, you want to help those who are struggling, those who are depressed, or those who are less fortunate. So these kinds of rhythms actually uh, we learn along the way. And
Mhm.
for you it's gonna be different because you have a different road, different calling, different temperament, obviously. And so, and for those of young adults, or adults watching us now, your rhythm of life is also gonna be different according to your personality, your characteristics. But uh, it helps us, like, from the word flow, no, flow along adulthood in a, I guess, in a smoother way, I guess, to find
Mhm.
certain rhythms, to find certain structures, so that we're not everything everywhere all at once. We're not scattered, we're not scatterbrained.
Mhm.
There's like a guide or a flow throughout our adult life.
Yeah, I kind of want to like throw that question back to you, especially like you're like a couple of months in the U.S.
Yeah,
uh, after like 2 year, was that like a couple of years, but waiting to
18 months
18
actually.
months of like trying to anticipate that moment nga to move with at least your wife yeah sa US. So how has that been for you?
Right, right. Yeah, before I answer that, so for the benefit of watching, so I'm talking to Daniel from New York in the United States, and he's in Cebu City in the Philippines. And so I got here last February, March, April, May. I'll be on my third month now. So a lot of transitions, a lot of like changes essentially. So one of which is adjusting to married life in person, because for the first year and a half of marriage, my wife Lisa and I were in a long distance relationship. I was in Cebu, and she was here in New York. And so the adjustment is, living with your wife, living with your spouse in the same country, in the same city, under the same roof. So that's an adjustment. And another adjustment is working. Well, I already have an idea of what it's like to work with a budget from my single life, from being a single person before, but with now we're working with a budget as a married couple, and so
Mhm.
there's a lot of back and forth going on, consultation of, oh, should we spend this? Should we get this? Do you think this is good? This is better? So there. Adjustment also in decision making, because now you're no longer a single young adult. In my case, I'm already married, so uh, the goal of marriage is to function as a strong unit, as one.
I'm taking my notes.
Good at go ahead. I'll send you a copy of this video. So, so there has to be a consultation. There has to be there has to be conversations going on about, where you want to take your next vacation, what
Mhm.
you're going to do on the weekend. Which item of clothing goes into this batch of laundry or whatever. So that's an adjustment. Another major adjustment I had to make coming here in New York in the middle of winter was the coldness. It was very cold. I think I came here the dead of winter, the middle of winter, so very cold. But yeah, and this is I'm not saying that this has been like or any change or any adjustment is easy, but in my life that's always been like my
Mhm.
mindset, that I have to be flexible and adjustable in any circumstance. And then whatever change comes, try to roll with the punches, as you said. Try
Mhm.
to find again, try to find a rhythm within that
True.
change, within that new terrain, within that new environment.
Mhm.
Find a path, a flow that works for you. And in my case, in as a married person, a flow that works for both me and my wife. So yeah, and the thing is it's the I don't know who said this, some smart person of the olden days, that the only thing constant in this world is change. So we have to be ready at any turn for changes in temperature, weather, changes in employment, changes in like in our world now, a lot of things can happen. Changes in politics, changes in whatever. So it I found it personally, and my wife also agrees, because she's like me in this aspect. We both find it really helpful to be adaptable and flexible, and not to be so
Mhm.
rigid, with, oh, this is what I really like, this is how it should be, this is what
Mhm.
life should be. But we both try to be flexible and adjustable, adaptable, first to each no first to God, because God will God's plans are fixed. God's plans
True.
are set in stone, so we have
Set.
to adjust to Him. And then secondly, we adjust to each other, because we're supposed to become one. And then one way to do that is we serve each other and adjust to each other. So yeah, so that's kind of the flow, or the rhythm of my adult life right now, when over a decade into adulthood. Final question, if you're ready for the final question, Dave.
Sure.
Okay. How has adulthood impacted your social, work, personal, love, and spiritual life? So, which is kind of
Social.
kind of how this is kind of like a lead in from what I was talking about earlier. So, yeah, how has it impacted your? Let me just say that again: social life, work
Social life.
life, personal life, love life, and spiritual life. How has your adulthood impacted these?
Hmm. Social life. I think when we're adulting ka ng, um, I think ang akong nabantayan most likely is kanang the less going outs and the parties and all that kanang drastically like went down.
Mhm. The part
Um,
you mean? Don't answer that.
I could answer it. It's
You can.
yeah, definitely, of course.
Mm,
Like unsa ni,
mm,
if it helps, I have like my own stock days, but I just like stay at home.
yeah. That's wise.
but mana, with the social life, like I've learned how to like say no, said like
Mm.
what you said, like the boundaries,
Yeah, that helps.
like kanang it's not like when you were like kids before nga, there's that term nga you outgrew like
Mm. Yeah.
certain stuff when you were younger. So muna, I think that work life, um I actually started doing part-time work before when I was like in college na. So
Right, right. Starbucks.
Starbucks and katong kang Tito Lindon before.
Right, right.
And so like with work kanang with doing work part-time and you're studying like it gives you a certain discipline as well
Mm.
to like kanang balance your time.
Mm.
But it's not like kanang I've like mastered it like because I did part-time before, but there was a point nga I had to stop studying sad like to focus on work.
Right.
And there was a time nga I stopped work just to finish my studies. So I think my experience with that before helped me with my current work right now
Mm.
as like I'm working for Accenture right now, so
Yeah.
kind of helped me to like have that kanang certain, let's say, tenacity with work as
Yeah.
well.
Very good.
And with personal pod, as what I mentioned a while ago nga, with adulting kanang it makes you kanang grow jud,
Mm.
definitely. Unsa ni kanang muna merg ang term kanang nga term nga magbinata gyapon ba, so like kanang murag if I try to look back to myself couple of years, pila ka years pa
Mm.
jud marahog like that was me before, like
Mm.
so muna siya, I think. And next was love, no? Love life.
Yeah, yeah, it's in there. Yes. Mhm.
Um
Love life.
first 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 na kay kuan sa personal niya, family podcast.
Yeah.
Kami na lang ni Mami na bilhin diri sa Cebu. 'Cause
Right, right.
my siblings are, abroad, so
Yeah.
kana I have to I can't like, just live the life nga marg ako raw sa I have to think about others as well, like especially my mom.
Yes.
You know, every decision you make sa balay, like you have to consider her. It's not like kanang, she's weighing down. I'm like kanang marakog na bugatan sa akong mom, or other. Like, mom's chill. We're like very chill living together with mom, but kanang unsa ni kanang I have to consider would she like this and na gani.
Right, right.
Like kanang unsa ni kanang mana like unlike before nga like I could just like go out by myself, but right now kanang initiative sa akong part
That's
karon.
yeah. Good job.
I have that initiative to like usay I maka when I think about going out kanang I always go at the crossroads nga, oh, I should take my mom with me, may nana ba,
Right, right.
like because it's just us two na lang nabilin, so like let's go out, mom, like
Mm. Yeah.
let's have a
Very
coffee somewhere, or like let's eat outside, may nana gani.
right. It's very good.
And for the love life as well, kana sa thinking about the other person, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to be considerate on how they feel.
Yeah.
um Kanang you have to be selfless, jud, you know
Yeah, that's true.
selfless, and you try to look for ways how to like serve your partner, na ba.
Nice.
So spiritual life,
Mm.
adulting, it's the growth as well. Um for me in the spiritual right now, it's not like I've figured it out like spiritually,
Mm.
but I think I'm at a season right now where like you you want you want to you want that spirituality not kept within your head na,
Yep.
but you want to like let people know how the Lord is in our lives, how how good he is in our lives, despite how flawed we are as human beings.
Through that.
So um with adulting pod ka ng saan eh, like I I'm still kanang along the way I kind of feel like I'm Morocco kanang I'm still trying to figure it out.
Mm.
I'm I'm comparing right now ba, pero I kind of think I graduated late man in college, so I was supposed to finish it earlier with my batches, but I think I finished way later. Like hapit ko na magna 9 years, so
Yes.
that's why I kind of feel like kanang Morocco kanang wahi or
Right.
something.
Mm.
I kind of feel kanang late, but like what I said kanang like I had to roll with the punches that or like the cards that were given, or
Mm.
like the cards that kanang
We're
the
dealt.
cards that were dealt, or
Mm.
or in say tawag na yan? Sa in short kanang like
Mm.
the consequences of my actions basically,
Mm.
because I was supposed to finish college earlier, but I had so many kanang rough patches in
Mm.
my college life. So,
Right, right.
but I still finished. Ana.
Yes, you
Oo.
did. Yeah.
So, wala siya. It's all good. Not
Nice.
not entirely good, but
Mm.
kanang with my mantra nga kanang layo pas tinod pero layo na ako nga sa gasugod.
Mm. Well, we've come to the end of our session with my dear friend and brother Daniel David. And thank you so much for your time, Daniel, for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
Social media. Stop. In my social media forays with this, hopefully, an ongoing session called Adulting 101.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
for those of you watching us online on whether Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, I think after this session, I'll also post my first session with another friend, Mike Rilo. Watch out for it. I'll put it on this channel. These
Kato mas famous to siya.
famous what's that name? The head of Toledo chapter.
The little chapter.
So yeah, thank you once again, Dane, and thank you
Thank you,
whoever
Mike.
watching our session today. Um, I hope you learned some things. You've picked up a few.
I hope I said the right words.
I hope I said the right words. But yeah, thank you, and tune in, follow for more, and hopefully for the young adults and the adults watching that you've picked up a few nuggets of wisdom from our adulting 101 discussions. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.